Hello, Bitternes. Here we are. Easter. South Walsham Village Hall. That's right, isn't it? That's where we're supposed to be. Well, nearly. No one else here. Never mind. Bitternes Afloat Virtual Mark II. Who'd have thought 12 months ago that we'd still be in some kind of lockdown and having to do virtual things? But never mind. We've got a great programme packed in for you. And it's, at the moment, as we film this, it's 6 o'clock on Easter Saturday evening, and normally you lot would all be arriving, a bit like that video you just saw of everybody arriving by walk, but we're not. But we're going to try and put a programme together for you again this week to be together, to share, and to sort of get together and reacquaint ourselves with old friendships. We hope you enjoy it. If you're on watching this and you haven't signed up yet, please email instantly admin@bitternesafloat.co.uk, and Joe will get you an application form so you can be part of the wider goings on this week. We're going to do similar to last year, but try and with a bit more experience, and having done it once, we hope we're going to make it better. It's going to be a little bit more interactive and have one or two more creative things going on. You should this week have had a parcel in the post. If you haven't, then either you haven't signed up, see before, or something's gone wrong. Please tell one of the leaders this evening you haven't had your pack, or email Joe again, admin@bitternesafloat.co.uk. In your pack you should have found some goodies. No doubt most of you have eaten the best bit already, but amongst that other things, there's some bits of craft that you will need during the week. So every evening, please have that together with you when we get to the Zoom call part of the evening. I won't go on for too much longer. The guys have put a huge amount of work into what's going to go on this week, and we're still doing, as I say, it's Easter Saturday, 6 o'clock in the evening, and I'm still videoing, and John's going to be angry because he's got to edit it. But he'll cope. I'll hand over to the rest of the team. I hope you enjoy it. You'll see me again a little bit during the week. Make sure that you've got your packs with you every night. I've already said that, but I'm going to say it again, and I might say it again. Bring your packs with you every night, because there'll be something in them that you need. Listen in, listen and watch, take part in the creative worship, have a laugh at the more light-hearted stuff, join in the Zoom clubs. Zoom clubs? Cabin Zooms? Zooming cabins? Whatever, we'll get together on some Zooming things and do cabiny things, and hopefully get a chance to be with friends and to share a little bit. I hope you all enjoy the week. Please give the team your feedback and your thanks, because they've put a huge amount of work into it. Take care, speak to you soon. Bye.
To which I replied, well, only if you'll take the iguana too.
Brava, bravissima. That's quite the yarn, but I bet I have one to rival it.
Pray tell.
Well, have you seen Jack recently? I FaceTimed him first thing this morning and...
Dave!
Hey, how are you?
Yeah, I'm just out on my daily walk. Got to keep my pace up, or otherwise I won't make it to the hall. I mean home, for breakfast.
Out already? It's only 7 a.m.
Well, I was up for 6 for Skipper's and an early meeting, and now I'm just doing my usual 1 mile trek. It's a still morning, but slight nip in the air, so I've taken precautions, done full waterproofs, and you know, I've got my rucksack with me, so I've got my toiletries and got my Bible, you know, just in case.
Mate, are you okay?
Yeah, Skipper, yeah, I'm fine. But I've got to go now, breakfast time, and I can't be late, or Marnie, I mean Mum, she'll be furious. Okay, mate, bye.
No, that's so odd, especially because I also rang him this morning around 8:45, and...
Beth, I can't talk now. I've got to get back for an inspection. I mean, the insurrection, to protest, because the mates do all the work.
What? Is that entirely necessary? I can barely hear you over those waterproofs.
Haven't you been checking Wind Guru? I've been refreshing it all morning. There's a storm coming in. I need to get back and put a reef in.
A storm? But it's blue skies and sun here. That can't be right. Wingo and Buster got it wrong.
Oh, that is more than a little worrying. Doesn't Jack know we can't go sailing this year?
Well, maybe that's the cause of all this. Perhaps these are kind of withdrawal symptoms.
I say!
I say.
What if we hired a boat and popped over Norfolk to go sailing with Jack?
A soothing spring sojourn sailing, say, 7 seas? Sounds splendid. And I think it's just what he needs. Operation Get Jack Back to the Broads.
Cheers to that!
Hi, Dave.
Oh, hi Jack. I was just talking to Beth. Sorry to bother you in the middle of dinner. Is that a bin bag tucked down the front of your waistcoat?
Oh, whoops. Yeah, that's from this morning. Wait, you're like this one. I say, an infatuated, short-necked Norfolk bird.
Jack, this isn't Bitternes and we're not at breakfast. Are you sure you're okay? You seem a little out of sorts. And you keep ducking my calls.
Be kind to your web-footed friends, for that duck might be somebody's mother. Be kind to your friends in the swamp.
Jack, I'm genuinely concerned. I'm this close to calling your mum.
Dear mummy, this Fleet Dyke's a wonderful place, but the organisation's a shocking disgrace.
Oh my word. Look, I've been talking to Beth, and we both think that you need to go sailing, like now. So we're organising a trip. Can you come?
Affirmative. But text me the details because I'm on duty crew tonight, and I've got to go and do the washing up, and these sugar pots have been causing havoc again. Look, just clear it up. What's the sugar all over the table? I've got to go, Dave.
He is exhausting.
Tell me about it.
By the way, when Andy wasn't bellyaching about that spoon, he said that the weather's in Norfolk is super stormy at the minute.
Oh no! Wait, wasn't Jack talking about a storm being predicted for today? Oh, he must be on Norfolk weather. Though there is a bit of a gale picking up here too. I can barely hear you.
It sounded seriously bad there. Out on the water, I heard that the raging seas did roar.
Roar?
Roar! And the stormy winds, boy, did they blow.
Blow?
Blow! And Nick says the wee jolly sailor boys were laughing as he scoffed at the band blubberers crying down below.
Below?
Below. At the band blubberers crying down below.
Hi Jack.
Hi, Beth.
Just wanted to sort out travel plans for our trip. I can pick you up and drive us there if you like. You'd probably just need to be ready about...
Ready.
So here we are, Sunday evening. What have we got in store? Well, we're going to try and give you a little presentation. There's going to be some creative worship that Charlotte's going to lead this evening. We're going to have a little bit of a chat with 3 of the leaders, just talking through some of the issues and trying to tease out some of the questions that you might have. And Nick's going to do a little talky bit, and then we'll have some Zoom cabin Zooms, Zoom club. Oh, I don't know, whatever they're called. Did I mention the packs that you're supposed to bring with you every night? By the way, just checking. God's got this. What does that mean? God's got this. Well, we believe that God has got what's going on in the world with you, with your family. That presents some tough questions at times, because when things are not going well, we struggle to sometimes see that or understand. So that's what we're going to talk about this week. We're going to try and tease out God's got this. Tonight, God's got the world. Let's talk.
Skippers and Bits Afloat, and welcome to Crafty Corner. Today we're going to ask you to capture a sunrise or a sunset. You can do this in a number of ways. You could simply scroll through your phone images and find a beautiful picture of a sunrise or a sunset you've taken in the past. Maybe you could even find one from Norfolk. This one's on Halsey. And then you could add it to your Instagram story and tag us. or you could draw a sunrise and sunset using whatever materials you have at home. But today I'm going to teach you how to paint a really simple, organic looking sunset just using paint and paper. So you just need to start with a white piece of paper, thick paper, or possibly card. If you haven't got white paper, you could do on the backside of a cereal box, for example. I've mask and taped mine down, but that's only for the sake of the film. First thing you need to do is you need to just take some white paint and cover the whole of your page in white paint. It may seem a little silly because the page is already white, but trust me, there's a reason behind this. Now, if your paint's a little thick, like mine, because I'm using acrylic, just dab a little bit of water into it. Okay, once you've got your page covered in white paint, you take your first colour. I'm going to use a little bit of purple, and you mix it with a load of white. You literally just want the tiniest dab of purple, like the tiniest, and it's going to make, oh, look at that beautiful violet kind of colour. Losing my words. And then you're using that lovely light colour, and it's going to mix in with the white paint already on the page. I'm going to go for a sunset here, so I'm going to go a little bit orange. So I'm going to take a tiniest little bit of pink, again the tiniest of dabs, and mix it in with some of the white that's left over. You do that lovely pale pink. And again, I'm just going to put that straight onto the paper. As you see, it mixes with that white background to make it even more pale and even more subtle, and just a little bit organic, really. Okay, as I said before, I'm going to go for a sunset, so I'm just going to take a tiniest bit of orange and I say tiny bit, and mix it in at the bottom. Now, I put that straight onto the page, so as you see, it's quite bright. So if you want to calm down any of the colours, you might really like that, how bright it is. I mean, a sunset is normally quite bright, but I like mine really relaxed. I'm just going to add just a little bit more white paint on top, just to really soothe it down. Really nice, calming, beautiful sunset. All right, there you have it.
Would it be better to spend a whole day eating nothing but raw onions, or never be allowed to use the letter E again?
So we've got an easy one to start with. First question from one of the Bitternes is, if when God made the world, he made it perfect and then the devil got involved, what is to stop that happening again at the second coming?
Oh, I'm really looking forward to the hard questions later in the week.
Well, I'll kick us off with part of it. Well, a thought which is maybe part of the answer. It's a bit of an illustration. Imagine a robber who has been captured by the police. He's been put in handcuffs. So he's sort of had his free reign taken away. He can no longer do all of the bad things that he did, but he's still able to have an influence on what goes on around him. And that robber is probably going to be absolutely fuming at what's happened, maybe angry at the world, maybe angry at the police. he'll be using whatever way he can to still have an influence. He may be sort of thrashing around. He may be shouting accusations. So he's still got some sort of influence on what's going on around him, but has lost the big amount of power that he had and freedom. And Satan is like that. Satan has been chained now because of Jesus dying on the cross. Satan is now chained, and he's under the authority of God, but he is absolutely fuming mad because he wants to have all of the power, but he can't have it. And he will use any way that he can to have an influence on the world. And the way that he has an influence is always in a way that divides, and always in a way that is opposite to bringing glory to God. He is known as the accuser. He's known as the liar, and that is one of the ways that he's fuming and shouting into the world, just shouting lies into our lives. So there's a starter thought. What do you think of that?
So I think it's interesting about Satan his power being limited by God, like you said, because it tells us in the book of Job, doesn't it, that that when there's a conversation between Satan and God, that Satan has to ask for God's permission to do stuff to Job. And so that shows that actually God has the ultimate kind of authority and power over Satan, but he does have this kind of partial freedom to kind of be in opposition to God. So the kind of opposition is there, but limited by God's power. God is ultimately in authority over him. And I think that's what happens at the end, doesn't it? In the end, ultimately, God shows his power and his final kind of judgment on Satan by limiting him completely, and by kind of locking him up and throwing away the key in the end, so that he has no power in the second coming.
We are in this sort of in-between time. I mean, you could say that all of the time since the beginning of time, there has been a story going on, but we're in this bit in between Jesus dying on the cross and defeating Satan, and Jesus coming again, and that was referred to in the question. And when Jesus comes again, he is going to come as the almighty victor and prove once and for all in an epic battle, which we sort of get a glimpse of in the book of Revelation, this epic battle where it is proven once and for all God is supreme, God is powerful, and God is the victorious one. And there's no doubt about what is going to happen, but we're in this period now, and it is tricky, and it doesn't sit easily with us, does it? We can think, well, why can't he just squish him now?
Yeah, and I think it's not just in Revelation, it's all through the Bible that it points to the fact that at the end there will be nothing wrong in heaven. Absolutely nothing wrong, and everything will be good. And if that's true, then the devil must be dealt with elsewhere finally and put away.
So why do you think he allowed him to come in the middle? Why not just stop at Eden? Well, that's another question, isn't it?
It is, but maybe it needs addressing. And I think part of it is because choices have to have consequences. The devil we see was there at the beginning of the creation, and he's given a choice, just like we're all given a choice, and he chose to oppose God, and we are given the choice to oppose God or to go with him. And God gave us that gift of free will, and if he hadn't, yes, no devil, but also the rest of us would just be robots, and it wouldn't be a life that I would choose, and I don't think many people would choose it. That's probably...
I hope that's answered part of the question. It is a deep subject, though, so we might not manage to answer it in 4 minutes, but I hope that's helped you.
Great. Thanks, guys.
today in Commie's Forepeak.
O Lord our God, your majestic name fills the earth. Your glory is higher than the heavens. You have taught children and infants to tell of your strength, silencing your enemies and all who oppose you. When I look at the night sky and see the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars that you set in place, what are mere mortals that you should think about them? Human beings that you should care for them. Yet you made them only a little lower than God and crowned them with honour and with glory. You gave them charge of everything you made, putting all things under their authority. The flocks and the herds and all the wild animals, the birds in the sky, the fish in the sea, and everything that swims in the ocean currents. O Lord our God, your majestic name fills the earth.
I love Scotland. I think it's the greatest country on earth. And hey, I've been to a number of amazing places in this world and seen some awesome sights and experienced some of the natural world's great things. And actually, when we stop and think about the world that we live in, it is awesome. There are, times when we see huge power, particularly in the wind or the waves. We've noticed it when we've been sailing. Or moments of flat calm. And we get the two. And we get beautiful detail and amazing sort of scale and grandeur in the mountains maybe. And the animals and the flowers and all the things that grow that we can still marvel at. The world is an awesome place. God made this world and God delights in it. When God made this world, he saw it and said, it is good. And hey, he made this world as a place for us to live in. It's obvious that he loves us greatly. And he loves this world that he's created with all the amazing variety and big and small and whatever. I think it's hard to look at the world and not be amazed by God. People who have been on many mountaintops talk about the spiritual nature of being there, because it's hard to deny the existence of God when you are sat in some awesome places. In fact, Psalm 8 talks about, even the children will be amazed and sing God's praises. I've seen that when taking a group from my old school out onto a loch in a canoe in autumn, and the colours were amazing and they were just like, wow. Or Jake Moran on Horsey Beach seeing all the abundance of seals that God had provided and just going, wow. Or any of the other examples we have. Just take a moment and stop and think about some of the best bits of this world, the natural world that you have experienced. Maybe in Norfolk, maybe nearer to home, maybe somewhere abroad, I don't know. But this world has a lot to offer us. And when we read Psalm 8, it says that we were made to rule this. When I consider your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and stars, which you have set in place. Now, how awesome are the stars on a really clear night in a deserted part of the country where there is no light pollution. And yeah, I think of these things and I think how amazing God is. But the psalmist goes on to say, what is man that you're mindful of him? Well, what are we? We are tiny in comparison to the awesomeness of God's creation. But God still thinks of us. God still cares for us. And it says that you made them rulers over the works of your hands. God has given us this world and put us in charge of it. And we can rule it as we see fit. And we have a responsibility to rule it well, to enjoy it, yes, to explore it, to go and understand something of God from what we can see. But we have a responsibility to look after it well. And I think it's fair to say that that's not something we are brilliant at. Maybe not us personally, maybe we are really good at looking after the environment. Or maybe we're not. But actually, as you look at us as a whole race, you think, how on earth has the world survived this long? I look at some of the mountains of Scotland and there are paths trodden into the hillside. And some of them, yeah, they're small. But others are obvious from miles away, great scars down the hillside, the erosion of many footprints. We want to appreciate the world, but not use and abuse it. But what about all the litter left? Yeah, litter on city streets, but litter in the countryside that just has no place there. People just don't care anymore. And we need to think about, how have we trashed this world? Where is it going to? How long will it last? How can we fight to help or to persuade people that we should care more? But ultimately, we will never care for this world as much as God does. God's got this. Whatever we think of the way the world is being degraded, God's got this. He didn't just create the world and then step back and go, on you go. He's created this world and stuck around. He created this world and sent his son down to this world to give us a chance. He's still there, overseeing. And he has a plan. Not just a plan for us, but a plan for this world. And when this world comes to an end, his plan is for a new heaven and a new earth. All the amazing bits that we've experienced on this earth will pale into insignificance in the new earth. How much better will it be? We can't get our heads around it. God's got this. And Psalm 8 speaks of an amazing God who created an amazing world. O Lord, our Lord, how majestic is your name in all the earth. Not just, some kind of king figure, but the most sovereign Lord who is in charge of this earth and of us, who is someone that I can trust and follow and believe that, he's got this. Psalm 8 points ahead to Jesus. It talks about the Son of Man, and in Hebrews it says, Jesus, the Son of Man, in charge of everything. Jesus, the Son of God, in charge of everything. God's got this world.